Hey everybody, this is Adrienne with Team GAIA, where our mission is to accelerate our lives, be ourselves fully, and create a whole and healed planet for our future generations to enjoy. I was all nerve-wracked to do this latest video because I am an introvert and I'd probably rather be sitting in bed reading and doing Sudoku than making videos. But the fact of the matter is that we're having fun and there's a lot to learn, and some crazy stuff happened yesterday that all turned out good. Thank goodness. There's like some turbulence in the other realms that I wanted to share with you. And so I've been procrastinating doing this. I'm pretty nervous, and let me pick my nose here. Okay. And I got my green smoothie. We're going to just dig in here. So it all kind of started for me yesterday when I was thinking about Prince and how he had passed. And of course, his name and my name, it's always been sort of a subject of mockery. You know, people even ask me, oh yeah, are you related to him? Or are you the artist formerly known as, you know, things like that. And so we always had a bit of a connection. I've always thought that he was pretty cool, and we've been learning a lot of cool things about him since he passed. But there are those amazing people on YouTube who do this incredible, phenomenal research. And one of them was a video that just kind of shocked the shit out of me. I'm going to show you the basic thing. I probably will carry over the URL for it. I am going to attempt a screen share here so you can see what it is that I'm talking about. But it's a YouTube video about Beltane, Prince, ritual sacrifice, and things like that. And the person who made this video is pretty incredible. Ooh, I should have probably already had it up. It doesn't look like it's going to show me the tabs. Let's see, maybe it will. Let's see if I can, look at my tabs here. I should have probably just brought it up on its own screen, apparently. Let's give it a try. Yay. Oh, there we go, off into the distance. Let's go. Okay, come on guys, show me what you got. Now it's going further and further. This is totally weird. Well, let's not do that. Okay, back to the normal screen. Can we even? Holy camole, can we even? Nope, this is a Skype screen. Bizarre. Oh, wow. Okay, let's, I learned how to screen share. Can I learn how to unscreen share? Okay, that was fun. It's called Tech Experiment. Okay, so I'm gonna I'll put the URL for this YouTube video down, but basically this guy took all the different signs and symbols and mind control glyphs and what do they call them, sigils, all the different like symbologies from all the different cultures having to do with Prince and purple rain, and he like breaks down all the puns, you know, rain, R-E-I-G-N, and how purple's the color of royalty. And basically he was breaking it down how Beltane, or the spring equinox, and or Easter, and or tax day, like all culminate. And so then we have Prince actually dying, and is that like an energetic sacrifice on some level? And I just got really super freaking bummed, because to me, I could tell that Prince knew a little too much about the occult for me to be like totally cuddly and comfortable about him. But then again, he also spoke out a lot. And but to think that people like the Queen, and that's just an enemy image too, but anyway, let's assume that Queen Lizard Breath really isn't all that nice of a person. Oh yeah, and it's her birthday, right? So so all of that stuff coming together made me realize in a way that I never really had before, how April 30th and then followed by May 1st was this great big opportunity to collect energies, those reproductive, passion, sex energies, and then to actually deploy them on the pagan May Day, which I've always been a big fan of May Day, and I'm a big fan of pagans. I'm a big fan of earth religions, you know, of all sorts. So this idea that like the sacred god and goddess energies, the sacred life force energies, the colors of green and purple could actually be collected and misappropriated by the elite. This really freaked my shit out. I mean, you've got the Christian people who are always breaking down the symbologies and the puns and the timing and talking about the satanic underpinnings of our culture. And they're always pointing to the pagan cultures as being like this particular problem, that like earth-based energies, earth-based sacred energies have been potentially misappropriated by black magicians. Why this should surprise me, I don't know. But I think what really, really spins my mind sometimes is the idea that there's all these different little clubs of people, kind of like the Illuminati checkerboard, you know, that's supposed to induce some sort of a trance. That there's all these folks looking at it from all these different angles and pointing fingers at all the other groups saying, you're of the dark, you're of the dark, you're of the dark. And this is really annoying, because then how do we really get a hold of what disempowering agendas really are? I mean, do we need to like invent a whole different language? We can't use light and dark, because there's consciousness and feeling and heart in the dark, just as there's unheartfulness and unconsciousness in the light. So we can't really divide the world into light and dark. We can't divide it into good and bad. We can only really divide it by what feels okay in our hearts and what doesn't. And you can't collect a set of symbols and signs and say, hey, this is being used against you. Or rather, they can tell you this. And then I went, oh my God, it's true. So where it really came to a head for me was I am kind of into the potential timeline in which Bernie Sanders does really, really well. Not only does he waken a lot of people up, but that maybe if we're really good at hacking the matrix, we could carry him all the way to the White House, where he declares that our new national priorities are peace and prosperity, as opposed to war and control. And so, you know, a whole bunch of us, affiliated and unaffiliated, are all really on this fabulous bandwagon to see if we can like break the matrix this time. And so for me, that's what Bernie represents. And I think that everybody else is kind of on board with that. And I'm really excited because like I decided to turn my back on politics. I'd been a Green Party person, and I just went, okay, I'm going to go on a deeper level and start doing my work there. And then the rise of Bernie Sanders was just like this huge boon that I really never thought would be coming. I was like, we're never going to get anything done politically. We're going to have to do it all on the ideological heart, person to person level. So the idea that we even had a chance at this was like a huge surprise. Thank you guys. Yeah. You know, so it's really, really cool that we're making these blips. It's like, and I intend for us to take this as far as we possibly can. So yesterday was officially supposedly Beltane, and boy, they make that word Beltane sound like it's what's like a nightshade, like deadly nightshade. Beltane sounds like it's related to a nightshade or something. You know, it's just like evil. And I don't even know if that's any of the intention. And like I said, I'm totally pagan friendly. Like, and so this has. The fact that we're trying to alter timelines and sway paradigms, I really realized how high the stakes were yesterday. So yesterday, what I was noticing on the energetic level was a lot of opacity. That is to say, it wasn't transparent. Things didn't feel flowy. Things felt as if there had been some energy that had been collected, that it was swirling in the direction that was not positive, and it was smug, and it was, oh, I hope you guys don't hate me for saying this, but I really feel like Hillary Clinton is kind of aligned with all that stuff. And I just felt like yesterday was her day to like decide energetically that it was all sewn up. And I was just like, oh my God, who took my galaxy away from me? You know, I just couldn't believe that everything that was being presented to me, as my mind started to try and find like some freedom, some space where possibility was available, I was having a damn hard time finding it. And I got really scared, and I was like, holy shit, somebody did some kind of black magic. I hate using these terms, but anyway, somebody did some kind of motherfucking black magic that has tried to sew this up for Hillary. And the way it shook down on the free will, personal, using your own mind level was that the meme of Bernie having a chance was being eclipsed by the energetic meme of give it up. This is never going to happen. This is how it's going to be. And I was really fucking freaked out. I was just like, no, what the fuck happened to our revolution? So I didn't know how to fix that. I'm going to take a drink of my green smoothie, and if you get green in my teeth, then you can laugh with me. I have not very many times in my life witnessed that level of density with purpose. I swear to you that yesterday was definitely being used as a day for the other side to try and anchor their rightness. And so it made me have to really reevaluate, how come I think we're right? What is it that makes us peace-loving, freedom hippie, you know, peace for the world, love as the basis of the law people any more right than the black magickers? You know, and I swear it was like being in a vault or a crypt. I could not believe it. I was just like, so I was able energetically to like find one frequency that I could hold that I knew was of integrity. And I could hold that, and I could feel okay with that. And then I got some input from a Team GAIA subscriber, a young man who lives, I think, in Western Europe. And he is definitely an explorer. And I'm hoping to have him on this show sometime, because he has managed to travel the world for a couple of years span, just doing his right livelihood and mostly cash free. For a while, he was traveling with a partner. They mostly did camping. And I'm like, hey, that is a skill set. And I hope that you'll share that with people. So I'm hoping to have him on sometime soon. I won't share his name quite yet, because I don't know if he would want me to. But hopefully I'll have him on, and you'll know who he is. So anyway, he was like, wow, I'm watching your video from a few weeks back, the first one, and I personally am guided to let you know that you should probably pay more attention to body work and your pain body, because I can tell where you don't have full emotional access. And I think that you're holding a lot of pain. Now, part of me got defensive, going, hey, you know, I'm 50. I'm doing as good as I can with what I got left. You know, I'm like, I'm doing pretty good, people. But on the other hand, I was like, you know, sometimes these young spiritual adepts have something important to teach me, and I'm going to have to get humble and learn. So I went, okay, I'm going to do what I can. He's like, yeah, you know, the more that you go, and we all know this to be true, the more that you actually hone in on what it is that doesn't feel good and let yourself feel it completely and let yourself access the anger, the betrayal, the pain, the fear, the grief, allow yourself to access that, then it won't be able to ambush you later. You'll be able to know that it's, you know, that you have felt it, that you can clear it only through feeling it, and then you can move on. Don't flush the toilet, please. Oh, no, now you can. Anyway, life. So, where were we? Oh, God, this is terrible. I fucking got distracted, but I'm sure he had to pee. What are we going to do? Oh, God, will somebody... Oh, so anyway, Francisco, my friend, reminded me that I should probably dig deep, and that if I did, that I'd have more access to my life energies. And so that's what I spent the rest of the evening doing. And frankly, that's what I do most evenings, especially if I enjoy any weed or something. I will be like going within, finding the places that don't feel that great and feeling them until they're resolved. You know, noticing and feeling is pretty much what I'm here for, because that's really, really, really how we clear our emotional bodies so that they can flow. So we can have access to our full frequencies and be ourselves fully, which is what we're all here for. And that is the planet we're trying to create, is one where it's safe for us to be ourselves fully and completely. So, fortunately, by doing that, it got my mind off the problem and got my mind down into where the problem intersects with me. So my problem was that I felt that the dark forces were completely hijacking the springtime energies, the sacred god and goddess mating, life-giving, tree-growing, oxygen-producing energies, and like flipping it to their thing. And I was like, hey, that's our stuff. We should flip it back. And this friend of mine's like, well, before you go on into doing psychic warfare, why don't you think about going within and like healing some of this? And so what that did, of course, is it took my mind off the problem at hand, gave me something else to do, gave me places where I could clear and fix within my piece of the macrocosm, which I super, super recommend. And of course, you know, it's always a good day to go within and feel the stuff that hurts. It's always a good day for doing that. You're always going to free up energy. If you're stuck financially, going into your feelings and feeling the stuff that doesn't feel good and breathing through it and letting it move and letting it express itself, it's pretty much the master path to clearing up densities and stuck places. So financially, job-wise, love-wise, emotionally, it's always going to be the master path. So thank you so much, Francisco, for reminding me to do that. And what it did is it took my mind off of things enough to where I could just take my hands off, because am I really any better than those wizards? I want to use the life energies to promote my agenda, and my agenda happens to be a world in which everyone can fully be themselves, is fully fed, fully loved, fully connected. But really, is that agenda any better or more superior to people who want to lock the energies down to like keep continuing their thing? Like in some ways I need to, you know, let that go. There are times when I need to be completely agendaless. And so yesterday was one of those. I had something to do. I was able to let go of my agenda and just go ahead and do my homework. And sure enough, like, we're doing okay again today, right? So it was really wild because May Day seemed to indicate with it that whole wonderful rebirth of energies, that whole revitalization. Like the energy was just a whole lot lighter today. But I was damn surprised, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this. I didn't realize that Beltane basically for me energetically was like a second Halloween. like how Halloween was All Saints Day and how it was supposed to be like the amplification of the dark forces on the planet. I didn't know that April 30th could be that weird too. And that's exactly how it was. Anyway, I want to talk a little moment now, if you'll bear with me. Let's see how long we've been on, probably about 20 minutes. If you'll bear with me, I would love to discuss a few little things that I know about God and goddess energies. Because I feel like that's another secret part of our lives that hardly ever gets shared. And that's kind of what I'm doing with this video series right now, is telling you some of my stories about some of the crazy, wild, amazing things I've experienced for real, so that you can know that these things exist, and so you can feel a little safer owning yours. So when my mom got into Hinduism, it was what they called a Shaivik or Shiva-based doctrine. This was called Siddha Yoga, and it was fairly tantric. And so one of the core beliefs that I was raised with was that all of energy comes from a oneness, and that there's also a god and a goddess. And this is crazy, you get taught this as a kid, but that basically on some other dimensional level, the mating, the love making of the god and the goddess is what contributes to the vibrational state of matter. That's basically the way, and even before we had particle physics and radio physics and understandings of, scientific understandings of vibrational technology, the Hindu tantrics already had this as their basic cosmology, that there's a god and a goddess, and that they're making love somewhere, and that everything's fine. That was a part that I had really a hard time swallowing. This is where my spiritual path, my spiritual quest kind of began. Was I was like, hey, if God and goddess are doing so good, then why do we have so much distortion in this world? Why do we have wars? Why do we have murder? Why do we have rape? If God and goddess are doing fine, why do we have poor people, illness and other distortions? If it's all like, here's God and goddess, they're having a lot of fun, and then all of the material planes are simply emanations from that. I'm like, are they having some drama? Is there some parts of God and goddess that like don't get along? So I got really curious about that. And so I became self-appointed very early on, sort of part of the goddess. And I mean, now it's kind of commonplace, but that's been part of the paradigm breakthrough, is this seeping into the culture of more and more goddess and earth wisdom. Is something that's been happening gradually throughout the past 40, 50 years, and accelerating more than the last 20. The idea that women could be embodiments of the goddess was way, way wild, even like 10 years ago. I felt like I was pretty much the only person who felt this way. And then when the whole goddess thing that I discovered through like Mama Gina and other teachers, the sacred feminine sexuality angle, then it was sort of out on the table a little tiny bit more. So that was cool. It was cool to be able to start having that kind of verbiage being used on an everyday basis. Hopefully it's helped. I've just been trying to unfold these mysteries. As I unfold my mysteries, then in the culture, the mysteries start to be discussed. And then eventually I end up also benefiting from them. And then still not, because they're like, well, no, not you. You're not the goddess. But you can be part of the goddess, but mostly I'm the goddess, or whoever's on stage, whoever's got the microphone, whoever's got the podium is still the goddess. I'm like, ugh. So obviously we still haven't completely dialed this in, but it's exciting because I know there are some people who are going to be watching this video who are very earth-centered, and they're very sacred sexuality-centered, and they're very much aware that their goddess and their husband is their god. Sorry, their partner, their lover, even their wife, are still holding the god and goddess energies. Now, so that was all theoretical though. So I just grew up going, yeah, I'm a goddess. You know, I'm the only one who knows that I'm the goddess, but that's me. And it wasn't until some really weird things happened as I was a young woman that I recognized that maybe there really was some truth to this. So basically what started happening is I was having sexual experiences in which I was in my heart invoking the god, and then he would show up. So I write about this in my book, Mothership 2012, one of the encounters that I had. And it really the first time that it completely bit me, because like I could just sort of see a flicker of the God essence, or somebody might say something just in passing that was meant only for the goddess in me, or was coming from a vibrational state that I could recognize, but it didn't turn into like a full-fledged crazy ass, oh my God experience. let me do that in profile, you know, face to face, right up into my face experience. Yeah, this doesn't really work on video. Until what I call the Bowie experience. So if you're interested in buckling down, I would love to tell you a short story that is also in my book, which you can find on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and sometimes I sell it myself, but my website's down at the moment. Okay, so it's like $1.99. You could totally do this, but anyway, you can hear the story from me. So let's see. I was about 21, 22 years old, and it was November, and I lived in Denver. I had a purple mohawk and a little motorbike, and I was living as sort of an underground artist. I was doing theater, you know, directing, assistant directing, things like that. And I was just like doing the underground bohemian artist thing in Denver, which is a super fun place. You know, many cities are just a super fun place to be like a creature of the night. And so I was working at this coffee house called Muddy's, and they had a theater in the basement. And there was, in my book, I write that there's like a bit of a turf war going on between the friends of two different immortals. Two different immortals had two different factions in the nightlife of the city in Denver. And so one November night, this guy who looked probably like about 20 years old, he seemed even younger than me, invited me to go home with him. And I was planning to leave town I was going to move to New Orleans and go take a road trip. So I was like about to start my big adventure, and my friends weren't really keeping close tabs on me. There was no reason why I shouldn't go home with this guy. And he was super, super cute, kind of Irish looking, a little bit slightly built, and very creative, you know, kind of wicked in a little bit of a fae, like a fairy or elfin way. So I thought about it, and when I got off work at about 2 a.m., I was like, yeah, let's go. So we went to his place, and we were in bed, and then there was this time at which he said, do you know who I am? And I totally tripped out. Like my eyes, I just looked at his face as closely as I could. And his eyes changed colors, and his face morphed into kind of a David Bowie face. Like one eye went brown and one eye went blue. And then both eyes went kind of clear, and I was pulled out into this beautiful galactic star field where I could hear sort of crystalline music, like what they would call the music of the spheres. And telepathically, this guy told me, this is what I am, and it's what you are too. And so from a god and goddess point of view, we kind of had this reunion. And then I came back into my body, back into the 3D. And I was like, wow, thank you so much for that experience. That was amazing. I have never been taken outside of time and space like that before. And the love affair ended up terrible. He broke up with me the next morning. And when I tried to talk to him at his workplace, he said I was stalking him. And basically, like, he broke the glass the next day. Like, he just broke it. And I was like so lost. I was like, wait, I just met God in bed. I just was told of his eternal, undying, unflagging love and our eternal natures. And now this dude's like breaking up with me the next day. So that was kind of a massive mind fuck. It wasn't very fun. But what it did was awaken me to the idea that once again, just like all my sacred experiences, it came without me looking for it. I wasn't trying to make it happen. I wasn't trying to fit it into a box. It just came and got me. And for me, that's kind of the benchmark of a valid spiritual experience, is one that occurs when you weren't expecting it and is just, sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm getting hungry. I'm going to go eat something soon. So anyway, this is what you get for having a spiritual inspirer, teacher who's got ADD. It's not good. Anyway. So anyway, I'd love to hear about any experiences that you have had. I feel like the experiences that happen spontaneously they have a very good chance of being true. We didn't try to invoke them. There were no drugs involved in any of these experiences. And so that lets me think that for sure there's got to be different dimensions, different planes, and different levels of being. And when they come and get you like that in the middle of your normal life, when they interrupt the regularly scheduled programming, I just think it's so cool. Even though it broke me in a terrible way. Like, how the heck was I supposed to choose a partner in the future? You know, I just had like the ultimate communion with a dude who like broke up the next day. Like, what the hell was I supposed to do with the rest of my life? So I was really sad. And I spent the next few years like trying to see God in partners and often making that contact. But of course it never like clubbed me over the head the way that it did that first time. But I did get more and more acquainted with this whole idea. I'm going to see if I can, within a year of having had that experience, I found a book that really, really discussed that level of experience in detail. And it is called The Right Use of Will. And I'm going to see if I can get you over to that screen share really quick so you can see that book. We're going to do a screen share attempt again. Let's see how that goes. Yes, this time I think it will work. Start screen share. This is called Right Use of Will, Healing and Evolving the Emotional Body. And it was some channeled work by a woman in Santa Fe called Cian de Rohan. And she channeled about 7 of these books, which are all different colors. And I don't know if you were able to actually see that because I still don't understand how Google Hangouts work. But I'm hoping, oh, there it is. Good, good. You can see it. I'm so glad. Pretty sure you can anyway. And so yeah, this blue book, basically it started to tell people about God and Goddess as if they were actual characters who had actual history and actual grudges and actual angelic bifurcation of you know, it's an amazing mini cosmology written as if it's practically a soap opera. And it was very cool. And I started to understand a little more about who God and Goddess might really be. So I am definitely fully embodied goddess. And my mate is fully embodied God. And this is something that anyone can do at home. And it's a beautiful essence to essence lifestyle. You know, it's a good life. And when we drop our war against each other and strive to understand each other more than judge, life always goes better. And that's the one way in which I really feel that the work that we're trying to do within Team Gaia and the whole Ascension communities differs from the control agenda, dark magic, is that what we really want is for life to have its fullest expression. And I know they probably think the same thing about them, which is why one of my primary teachings is about the need for us to eliminate enemy images. So that's tough. It is tough to be a warrior sometimes because you want to see things clearly and truly and not be deceived into thinking everything's nice when it's not, or contrary, be deceived into thinking that there's enemies everywhere and that you can't trust everyone when that's not appropriate. So to see things as they truly are in the moment and deal with them forthrightly and honestly is really an art. But I think we tend to over imagine enemy images, but then there are times when we really need to see them and confront them and deal with them from within. So that's my message for you today, is that Earth is still beautiful, Earth is still sacred. There's quite a possibility that those loving energies have historically been used against us, but as long as there is love and communication and mutual tolerance and curiosity, I do feel that the forces of life, not necessarily the forces of light, because as you'll learn if you ever check out these Right Use of Will books, light can be used good or bad. Light can be used to harm. It's really about the force of love inside of the light. And this is all, fortunately, something that the heart can discern. And I'd love to hear from you as to whether you've ever fought any battles where like life looked so completely hopeless and even your heart was confused and you really needed some help to bail that out. I'd love to hear from you as to how that worked out for you and how you're doing with it now. I hope that at least by making these videos that I'm at least reassuring you that you've got a friend and a fellow traveler on this path. Help me figure out what to do with Team Gaia. I've got a little survey below that you can click on. And yes, you will start to get some emails from me about how to keep yourself healthy as a shifter. If you don't want them, you can always subscribe. But I'd love for you to keep in touch with me, and that's one way that I have of doing it. It's really my big dream that within about 6 months I'll be traveling the world and we will be meeting in real meeting spaces, raising the energies, having fun, seeing God in each other, and just like refreshing ourselves together. But teach me what I can do with Team Gaia. There are tons of spiritual teachers out there. And they're all heading in different directions too. You know, like I'm not even sure that I'm needed here, but there are some people who are really enjoying me and who say they recognize me. And that has really, really helped. So I love you guys and keep telling me what's going on. And I hope we'll be traveling the world together soon. Let's just have super fun. And love to hear your sex magic stories. You can write to me personally. You don't have to tell the whole YouTube community if you don't want. And thanks for letting me share the knowledge of God and Goddess with you. And that just a little note to keep yourself vigilant. I think I may be able to find now that I know how to do the screen share, I may be lucky enough to be able to share with you a little tiny bit of this video that they had from Prince. Oh, fascinating. Okay, so basically the thumbnail from it is going to look like this. Let me show you real quick here. Come on, boys and girls. So the thumbnail of the video looks like this, and the title is, oops, let me get it together here. The title is Purple Prince, Queen, Spring, Beltane Sacrifice of El. And it says part 1 of 2, but I don't actually know if he did a part 2. But it's so freaky because towards the end, he's like just breaking down each and every single bit. Oh yeah, there's Passover, the tax day, there's Easter, and he was like basically outlining how that purple is like actually could be used for evil. You could have knocked me over with a feather, but I guess in some way we knew. Ooh, it says present to everyone. Ooh, so this is it. This is the video. You know me, I'm just like doing the best here. Okay, I'm going to stop the screen share, and hopefully you will find that video if you really want to freak out. It was so exhaustive. He's talking about the rabbits and Alice in Wonderland and the checkerboard and the Ides of April, where your taxes are due. And, you know, oh my God, it triggered me so bad. Anyway, now we know. Thank you guys for watching. I hope I didn't talk your ear off too bad. I hope I brought up some interesting things. Please feel free to look me up anytime. We've got a Facebook group that you're welcome to join and start a conversation with. Team GAIA. The Facebook group is called Team GAIA Love, and it's a private group, so I'll have to let you in. So just knock on the door and I'll let you in. And thank you guys for everything. Thanks for the community. Namaste. See you next time.